Are you a new parent, therapist, or teacher who's interested in learning about child development? Are you curious how you can better guide your child's growth? Or do you just love talking about babies? If so, this is the series for you. Hi everyone, it's me, the Tiny OT, and on this channel we cover all things pediatric occupational therapy for parents, teachers, and therapists, and most importantly, your kids. This is the first episode in our new educational series for caregivers called Milestones for Minis, where we discuss key developmental milestones and activities to help build foundational skills for infants, toddlers, and school-age children. Without further ado, let's get into it. As your baby grows, they will reach new behavioral and physical skills and steps depending on their age. These are typically tracked by week, month, and year and referred to as milestones. Every baby is different. Some develop right on time, while others a little bit later. Therefore, your child may not reach each milestone at the exact day they turn that age, but they should develop close in proximity to these milestone markers. First, as a parent, teacher, or therapist, having general understanding of how children develop is key to being able to positively impact how they mature and grow. You can help facilitate positive growth through functional activities, establishing healthy habits, and creating consistent routines for your minis. Through this kind of framework, you can ensure your child is progressing appropriately through their developmental milestones and ultimately setting them up for future success. We'll be deep diving into this topic in our companion series, Activities for Minis, where we will explore how you can implement these ideas into your day-to-day, so stay tuned. In this episode, we'll be discussing milestones for infants ages 0 to 2 months. In the first month, your child will begin developing movement, vision, hearing, smell, and touch. So, let's break it down beginning with movement. Mobility will eventually be an essential part of your mini's life and will impact how they interact with their environment. For your infant, you'll start to notice them making jerky and almost quivering arm thrust movements. They won't be nice and smooth and controlled movements like you or I have, as they are still learning how to control their bodies. They'll start to bring their hands to the level of their eyes and their mouth. This is the beginning of baby learning to explore their environment with their hands and their mouths. When lying prone or on their stomach, they'll be able to move their head from side to side. They should also be able to briefly bring their head to midline or center when in supine, which is on their back. This movement is the beginning skill needed to build core or tummy muscles and neck muscles that they will use the rest of their lives. While holding baby upright, their head will flop backwards, if not supported. Appropriate support includes placing your hand, arm, or a pillow behind their head or neck to prevent unwanted flopping. The cause of this is a lack of muscle strength, which they should develop over time. They also tend to demonstrate strong reflexive movements. For example, infants tend to keep their hands in tight fists, like they want to punch you, so be careful. Babies tend to keep their hands fisted due to what's called the palmar reflex. You will notice that if you put your finger in baby's hand, they will squeeze it. This is that palmar reflex activating. The topic of reflexes deserves a whole episode in and of itself, so stay tuned to the channel for more, or see below in this description for some free resources on this subject. At this age, infants will be able to use their eyes to focus on objects 8 to 12 inches from their face, only 8 to 12. Therefore, they will not be able to see you all the way across the room yet. Due to their vision not being fully developed at this age, you will see their eyes wander and occasionally cross. Don't worry, this is completely normal for your child at this age. When looking at objects, infants tend to prefer the human face rather than other patterns. They will gravitate toward black and white colors or high contrast patterns. When an infant is born, their hearing is fully mature. They are able to recognize some sounds and may turn toward familiar sounds and voices. So yes, it is possible for your baby to recognize your voice and look toward you when they hear you enter the room. Infants are able to recognize the scent of their own mother's breast milk. Isn't that amazing? They will also gravitate towards sweet smells and avoid any bitter or acidic smells. So yes, it is possible for a baby not to like someone's perfume or lotion. Everyone has a preference for what feels good to them, even your baby. At this age, infants are more likely to prefer soft items over coarse ones. For example, your baby may love the feel of that soft fleece blanket and cry when touched with a rough towel. How you handle your baby is important as well. Most infants do not like to be handled roughly or abruptly. This is a very scary sensation for your baby. So instead, try gentle and slow movements. Now that baby has gone through their first set of milestones, let's talk about the milestones they will begin to develop in their second month of life. This stage is broken down into movement, cognition, socialization, and communication. At this age, infants will have very low muscle tone development, and thus will have trouble doing simple movements such as sitting up and rolling over. This is referred to as semi-hypertonia, or low muscle tone. Over time, this will change as their muscles develop and become stronger. By the second month, your mini should be able to begin to hold their head up for approximately 2 seconds while lying prone, which is on their tummy. And being in this tummy position is how babies are able to build their neck, shoulder, back, and core strength. With this increasing strength, you will also begin to see increased movement in both arms and legs, including kicking, stretching, and wiggling. You may also notice diaper changes becoming just a little bit more challenging with all this movement. At this age, infants will begin to intermittently open and close their hands. The palmar reflex is still present at this age, but baby is on the beginning stages of integrating this reflex. Opening the hands increases baby's exploration of their environment. You will also notice they're able to grasp an object briefly before releasing it again. They'll be playing with their toys in no time. Cognition is what we learn, how we think, and the ways we problem solve. At this age, you will begin to notice your baby watching you as you move around the room. They will even begin to look and focus on a toy for several seconds at a time. Following an object or person with their eyes is called tracking. Babies enjoy watching and following moving objects with their eyes. They prefer to watch faces over toys. At this milestone, infants begin to make sounds other than crying. This is where you'll start to hear that cute cooing sound we all love. They will also make a gurgling type noise as well. This is completely normal. Babies will begin to notice and react to sounds. For example, the fire alarm goes off in your kitchen, and then the baby cries. This happens because the Mora reflex, or startle reflex, is still present. With this reflex, you will see your baby abruptly arch their back, fling their arms up and out, and open their hands. They will also begin to draw their knees up, bring their arms in, and clench their fists close to their body. Within seconds, the reaction is over. However, your baby may also cry. At this age, infants will begin to calm down when they are spoken to or when they are picked up. For example, you may notice that they quit fussing upon being picked up. This is an indication that they now have the ability to react to the attention that you pay to them. They are beginning to develop the social aspects of what makes us humans human, social interaction. You will notice that they will begin to look at and focus on your face when you're talking and interacting with your mini. Perhaps the most uplifting and rewarding aspect of this stage is when baby begins to smile. When you talk or smile at them, they will also appear happy to see you when you approach them too. In summary, These first couple of months, babies are going through what may seem like small developmental changes, but are crucial milestones in their development into children and later adults. We have to remember that the first few months, infants are adjusting to a life outside of the womb, and it takes a lot of energy for them. They are building new muscles, learning to control them, their vision is still developing, and they are learning through their hands and mouths. And perhaps most importantly, they begin to interact and socialize with you, their caretaker. So yes, the first few months, babies mostly eat, sleep, and poo. But there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes. If you notice your baby is not developing some of these milestones, please reach out to your pediatrician. Early intervention is key in helping build strong bodies and minds. Thank you for watching this episode of the Tiny OT. Did you learn anything new? If so, what was the most interesting or surprising topic that we covered today? Are there any other questions that came up during today's conversation? If so, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And if this video was beneficial to you, it would mean the world to me if you liked and subscribed to help my channel reach more parents, teachers, and therapists. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next episode on the Tiny OT. We'll see you next time!